All right. Welcome to live stream number 3. We're going to be talking about some of the new changes in crypto mining since the last live stream 2 weeks ago or so. I'm going to keep this one short. As you see, just as you can tell, just overall, generally, the market is still in a pretty big bear market. Profitability is pretty low, actually. Bitcoin's at 33.59 at the time of this recording. Ethereum's hovering around $100, 103, and it looks to be like we're going to be continuing down this path for a little bit longer. It's very reminiscent of 2014-15 for me. There's not as much excitement in this space, but I think this is one of the most important times to be paying attention and accumulating assets because those assets are going to go up in value, especially if you've made that investment into hardware already. So we'll dive right into it here. Um, Fine. Yep. It's cool. So basically, I wanted to just talk about some of the things that are happening in the space. Things that are happening with BitCap. First and foremost, we do have a few rigs left for sale. Some clients are wanting to sell their rigs. There's only like 3 or 4 left. We've got other clients gobbling them up. So if you're interested in getting a little bit more hash rate at a discount, please reach out to me. We'll get you taken care of. There's I believe 3 AMDs and a 570s and one 1060 left, so you can come scoop that up and I'll come help you out with that for sure. Additionally, I haven't mentioned this before, but I've been talking individually about to clients about this or potential clients that we do offer discounts if you sign up for multi-year deals, and we do offer discounts if you have a lot of rigs with us. So we want everyone to kind of be in this together. So the more investment, larger investment that you make, we're happy to give you a little discount on the hosting. Um, Beyond that, I thought I'd talk about a little bit about what we're mining. Even if we're just selling it immediately, we are mining Beam, as I talked about last um, live stream, Grin, some Ethereum and their derivatives, Ethereum Classic, Music Coin, etc. We just added Vertcoin, which I'll get into. They just hard forked off ASICs off their network, so that's been added to the profit switcher. Um, Beam has been added to the profit switcher, so that's now working seamlessly with all the other coins that we're mining. It looks like a little bit of Bitcoin Diamond, some Raven coin gets in there, things like that. There's probably other things that I'm forgetting, but we're all over the place. We're trying to accumulate as much money as we can through the profit switcher, profitBOOST. And you can check your individual pages. I'm actually going to get into that here in a couple minutes. Individual pages about what you're mining, what you're selling, so you're not exposed to that. So you're not exposed to that risk. Um, and we'll talk about how that all works. So first things first, last live stream I talked about Ethereum was going to be hard forking. That was going to have some ramifications from miners. Mainly, it was going to stop the difficulty bomb, which has started to hurt more and more right here. So this is basically how many Ethereum are released per day. And you can see with the last difficulty bomb, fewer and fewer Ethereum are released, which means it's artificially jacking up the difficulty, which diminishes your mining rewards. This is starting to happen again because they have delayed that hard fork and they delayed the pushing the difficulty bomb down the road. We're starting to see the actual ramifications of fewer mining rewards being released. So, but with I think it's the second week of February, they're going to hard fork, and this is going to fix the difficulty bomb, but reduce the issuance. At this point, it's a net positive in terms of profitability. Back when they were originally going to fork before they discovered a bug, they delayed it for 2 weeks. It was going to be pretty flat, but now it looks like it's going to be a net positive. As every day that goes by, we're reducing the mining rewards that miners are getting. So keep an eye on that. When Constantinople goes live, we're basically going to fix the difficulty bomb, a net positive from miners in 2 weeks. And then hopefully we're going to move that conversation with the Ethereum devs to implement progpow, which is a variation of Dagger Hashimoto, which is Ethereum's algorithm that is more efficient on GPUs and does not allow for the huge efficiency gains that you see on ASICs on all these different algorithms, including Vertcoin. So this chart here is over the last 6 months. We can see the Vertcoin difficulty was hovering around 25. We'll just say 25. And then it looks like ASICs came online right around October here. We can follow these ASICs basically controlling a vast majority of this network. They probably were online here, but definitely a large batch was turned on here. And we had the Lyra ASICs online. I believe I had some clients purchase some Lyra ASICs, not from me. I was warning them against getting these ASICs because Vertcoin has hard forked ASICs off before with the script N algorithm back in 2014, and I knew they would do so again. And here we are. They just kicked them off, and the difficulty fell, oh geez, by 90%, it would appear. So that's why a lot of our rigs are back on Vertcoin. It's profitable to mine, or at least starting to be, at least in the conversation of what's most profitable to mine. And we kind of bounce back and forth between a bunch of other things. So Vertcoin's back in the mix. This was the first actual fork that I've been talking about that's happened. We're seeing a little bit of a boost here with Beam, Grin, and now Vertcoin joining the profit switcher. So all these things together has been a net positive for miners. And then of course we were able to add Vertcoin and we were able to add Beam to the profit switcher because we've added Nicehash as one of the 3 pools that we'll now be switching amongst. So basically I've had a couple clients reach out and not understand all these different mining pages that I'm sending them, and I totally understand. We're mining in 3 different pools. Each of those pools has multiple ports that you connect to. Each one of those ports has multiple coins that you can possibly mine, and the miner will just kind of switch between the two seamlessly. So it was a little bit confusing, so we created the panel, which is the awesome miner panel here. And this was kind of your central location for stats, no matter where they were mining. And then you would have this page. You would have now Nicehash. You would also have Zpool, and you would have Mining Pool Hub. All different they all have mining pages, but your centralized statistics are going to be here. Your estimations for your money per day, where they're mining are going to be on the left here. So I'll just kind of walk through every single panel. So if clients continue to have questions in the future, I can just point to this video and it's going to explain hopefully everything until we change it again, but hopefully we won't do that anytime soon. We created the awesome miner panel specifically so we didn't have to move it. We want to have the freedom to go to Zpool or maybe Zerg pool or maybe NL pool. There's a ton of different pools that we can connect to that we want to make sure that you know where your miners are at all times, even when we're looking for greater profits elsewhere, new locations. This is going to give you the same statistics. So I'll give you a little bit of information here. So I asked our client Matt here if I could use his rigs as an example, but this panel is going to tell you right here he has 10 rigs. So we've got Andelman 10. We can see that it's mining on Nicehash. We can see how many they've accepted, rejected shares, what the hash rate is, what the algorithm is, and Lyra version 3 is Vertcoin, how much money per day, per month, etc. We can also click on his rig specifically and we get even more information. That's his Bitcoin address. We get the per rig statistics. So you can really get pretty granular with this. So everyone has access to everyone has access to just their rigs on their individual panel, and they can click and see where all of that is. So, okay, cool. I know Andelman's on Nicehash right now. So how do I get more information on what he's mining on Nicehash? So I would grab for Nicehash, you have it by Bitcoin worker. So we can click on the Bitcoin worker or the Bitcoin address that you've provided the company, BitCap, and you can click it on Nicehash's website. So let's go just right to nicehash.com, right? So we click Find Miner. We enter the Bitcoin address that you provided us. We click Find Statistics, and it's going to load up your Nicehash specific statistics for your rigs. Cool. So we can see here, this is the profitability. This is how much the pool is holding until they pay you. They try to pay you. You click on this and they'll give you information on how often that you're paid. I believe it's once per day if it reaches a certain balance, and then every Sunday if it's a lower balance. So let's say you are mining for a month or so, and then you hop off and you only need a little bit for the trigger that payout for the day. Well, every Sunday they'll just clear all the accounts, so you actually get all of your funds. You don't leave any on the table when you leave. So this is going to tell us also what he's mining. Dagger Hashimoto, that's Ethereum. Beam, which is Equihash 150,5. That is Beam. I don't know why I needed to go into that like that. Apologize. Lyra 3, which is Vertcoin, and then also individual statistics, what each rig is mining, how many accepted, what the difficulty is, etc., etc. We also see profitability charts. Looks like at these little gaps, he switched pools. So he was probably on Mining Pool Hub or he was on Zpool. So this is basically him moving off of Nicehash. Oh, something's more profitable over here. And then we'll have a payment history here. Since we just added Nicehash recently, there hasn't been a payment history yet. Cool. We can even go 3 days, 12 hours, or whatever. Cool. So that's Nicehash. Keep in mind that this awesome miner panel is not a pool. It is just stats reporting. So that we only connect to 3 pools right now: Mining Pool Hub, Zpool, and Nicehash. So if to get to where your rigs are, you go on your panel, find out where they're mining, Nicehash, go to Nicehash, type in your Bitcoin address, get all your information. If they're on Zpool, for example, same concept. We'll go to zpool.ca. It's a Canadian pool. We'll go to the wallet address. We'll type that in, and you'll get all of your Zpool statistics. And this is their own backend. All their stats reporting looks a little bit different. I think Nicehash looks the cleanest. But this is all of the Zpool information. So we can see we popped up on here for a little bit. That was one of the times that it hopped off of Nicehash. Now we see it happen here. We can see what he's earned on this pool over the course of time, over the past 24 hours, when the last payouts are, and you can correspond this with the blockchain, with the Bitcoin blockchain. We haven't been on Zpool so much recently, but Zpool has a lot of the more lower market cap coins that we can kind of jump to when the market kind of dictates that we should. And the last place that we go to is Mining Pool Hub. And again, everyone was given their own individual link for Mining Pool Hub. It's called Mining Pool Hub Stats. And if you don't have that, I have a spreadsheet. I can send it to everybody. We can see it hopped off here for a while, and then it looks like it mined a little bit just today. And you can see what their earnings per day is as well. Now, you could have some rigs, if you have multiple rigs, that are different models. Sometimes it happens when you have the same model, if let's say like for a variety of reasons. But they should, for the most part, travel as groups. So all of your 570s or your Armadas are going to hang out together, and all of your 1070s or your Forces are going to all hang out together, and they're going to travel together. But if you have AMD and Force, or Armada and a Force, they may be at different pools at different times, because the Armadas are going to be better at mining certain things than the NVIDIAs or the Forces. So they basically go where it's most profitable based on their hash rate, and their hash rates differ by model. So that was just kind of walking through how all these panels work together and where your miners are, because I have a lot of clients that are still kind of confused about this process. So I'm trying to educate as much as I can, because it's really important that to me, and I hope to everyone, that you know where your miners are and what they're mining, and you just kind of have a peace of mind that everything's online. And that's all I do all the time, is make sure these things are running. So I want you guys to be able to see my work. Beyond that, I'm going to keep this one pretty short. This is only going to be a 15-minute one. Beyond that, we've added, as I said, Nicehash has added Beam and Vertcoin. We're still in the process of figuring out what the best miner to use is with Nicehash for Grin. And there's some other hurdles that we're trying to get through right now. But majority of our clients are mining Beam. If you have an NVIDIA, and most of our AMD clients are mining Vertcoin, which it has eked above Ethereum and some of these other things that we were mining before, like Bitcoin Diamond, and that's great. We're able to squeeze a little bit more profitability out of things, and I think as these forks continue to happen, we'll see what happens with progpow. We're talking about March, April for this, and I think there's a lot more Ethereum ASICs on the network than a lot of people are willing to admit. And once you start reducing the issuance rate from 3 to 2 Ethereum, it's gonna hurt pretty badly. So I implore, if anyone's ever posting on GitHub or anything like that, to reach out to the devs and talk about how important progpow is, because it really is an important factor in making sure that GPU miners are the predominant miners on the network. And I think that's the most fair way to have mining is with commodity hardware, with GPUs, and not ASICs, because generally ASIC manufacturers are going to create these chips. They're not going to sell them to you. They're going to mine on them until they design a better chip. Then they'll sell you the old chips, and you'll never make your money back, because it's a business decision to sell you these chips. With commodity hardware, with NVIDIA, with AMD, their goal is to provide a general computational a piece of hardware that can do a variety of things. It can mine, it can do machine learning, it can do rendering, it can play games, it can you can create 3D models. It's a fantastic piece of hardware that has many different applications, whereas an ASIC has one, and it's a business is going to act in its self-interest. And I think it's up to developers in the community to uh, deny or reject these types of business practices in the space if we're trying to keep cryptocurrency fair and equal to everyone in the globe. So I'll leave it at that. I will post this on the live stream, or I'm sorry, on my Twitch channel, so you guys can take a look whenever. And we'll set up the next one to be put up in a couple weeks, probably end of February, and we'll see where Ethereum is at progpow. We'll see if Zcash is talking about implementing progpow. Monero has a hard fork in March where they're going to kick off ASICs. Actually, I may have skipped that. There's a Medium post here where we think a lot of Monero's hash rate is also ASICs. So you're getting a little bit more profitability from Beam. You're getting a little more profitability from Grin. You're getting a little more profitability from Vertcoin. All of these things affect each other because a lot of people are on profit switching pools, which means their hardware is shifting to and from these other things. So the higher and higher difficulty is on Monero, the fewer and fewer GPUs leave Monero and start to affect the difficulty at Vertcoin and in Beam and in Grin. And it takes a long time for a lot of the people that are paying a lot of money that have investments where their power rate is very high to start turning off machines. And that's kind of what happened, is that we've seen the price moves a lot quicker than difficulty does. So when the price tanked, difficulty slowly moved down, and these ASICs slowly came online, and it really squeezed us from both directions over the past year. Now we're starting to get these developers realizing how dangerous ASICs can be on networks through attacks. B, you lose a lot of the excitement and engagement from people if you're allowing companies to just take over your coin through hardware. And I think we're seeing a lot of these projects see the importance of keeping their mining or their hash rate, the distribution of their hash rate as wide as possible. And that includes, the guy running a gaming computer, which is how I started. A guy with one rig in his basement, even up to the farms with 1,000 rigs or 2,000 rigs or 10,000 rigs. It keeps things more fair when you don't have one or two companies dominating just that space and focusing on that, dominating that space. So we'll see a Monero hard fork, which should loosen up profitability. We're starting to see it now with Vertcoin and adding Beam, and we'll soon be adding Grin. So things are still looking up. We're seeing some positive results from the things that I've been talking about over the past couple weeks, and I think it's only up from here. So reach out to me if you guys are in the midst of your contract renewals. Reach out to me if you guys are looking to buy those four rigs that we have left to sell. And of course, I'm happy to talk. You can jump on the Discord. You can email me, and I'm happy to talk about the space and what your concerns are moving forward. So thanks for stopping by, everyone. We'll talk soon.